So today we'll be talking about data structures and algorithms in Python, and today's topic will be arrays. So we'll be looking into this particular topic today. What and as always, I request you to take a notebook and a pen to take notes, and it will help you in revising the content and to get a better grasp of the topic. Okay, if you cannot understand, you can revise it in your off time. Okay, when you're done with viewing the video. Okay, let's move on. What is an array? So array in small, it is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. Okay, it can hold multiple values. Okay, and if you have a number of items, for example, if you want to store data, for example, integers in contiguous memory locations, that means the memory locations one after the other. Okay, you can use an array. Contiguous means इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब है एक के बाद एक, एक के बाद एक together. Okay, so generally array is like this. Okay, we have a representation like this, and these are, for example, the memory locations. Okay, so we have an index. It starts with 0, then we have 1, then we have 2, then we have 3, then we have 4, then 5, then 6, and 7. So what are these? Excuse me for my writing today. I don't know, the software is not working properly today. Index, and this is the length. Okay, this is the length. Okay, length, I will try my best. Length of array. Okay, this is the length of array. This is what we have, and these are contiguous memory locations. And now what can we store in this? So we can store anything. We can store and the data type needs to be same for each element which we store over here. For example, if we store an integer value, all the elements needs to be an integer. For example, if I store 20, then I can store 10, and I can repeat the elements. Repetition is allowed. If you by default it is allowed, and then 30, 40, 50. Again, if I store 20, and then 10. Okay, fine. So this is an array, and it is an array of integer. Similarly, we can have an array of float variable, and array of double type. The data content can be of type double, and yeah, and then we'll look into the basic operations. The basic operations include the traversing of the array or looping the array. लूप करेंगे कैसे हम लोग उसको एक के बाद एक each element को हम लोग कैसे देखेंगे. That will be the first operation. Then we'll look into insertion. How can we insert the value into an array? And then we can look into the deletion part. How can delete an array? How can we search an array? How can we update an array? So these are the basic operations which we'll look through in this particular session today. Okay. With that, I will go to the Visual Studio. Okay. With that, I'll go to the Visual Studio. Just give me a minute for the setup. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So this is the folder, and now I want to create a new folder. I'll come over here. I'll create a new folder, session 3. Okay. And inside this, I'll create a new file, exercise 3. one.py. Okay, so this is a new file. So what I told, we'll look into an array. What is an array? So by default, what I told you, an array is a special variable which can hold multiple values. Fine. So what is an array? Okay, it can hold multiple values and multiple values at a time. The values are stored in contiguous memory locations, and then the values can be accessed by the the values can be accessed, or the values or items can be accessed um, by the position of the item that is index, and the offset to the base value. What do I mean by this? I mean that if you have the starting index as, for example, if you have the starting index equal to 0, right? If you have the starting index 0, uh, starting index 0, and then if I want to access the third element, then I can tell the offset equal to 3, right? Third element, the offset will be 0 1 2, so I can offset equal to 2. If I add this to the index, I'll add, so to access, so to access the third element, we will set the offset equal to 3 and add it to the index. Okay. Okay. So this is what I mean. So I'll comment this out. Fine. This is what is an array. And now I'll go to, for example, you cannot view this. If you cannot view this, I will set this one and I will make a point over here. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Fine. And now uh, arrays in Python. Okay, so arrays in Python. How can I access this? We have a module. We need to import a module. So we need to import a module and use the below syntax. Okay, syntax is module, whichever module I access, then array dot array, and then data type and value list. Okay, this is the value list. Okay, so the data type can be of the following data types. The data types which can be accessed by arrays is of the following data types which can be accessed. The string type cannot be accessed, can only access an integer and decimal, float, and yeah, integer, long, int. That is, these are the types. I, big I, small b, big B, H. What does it mean? Small, big H, L, big L, F means float, and D is float. So all these types can be accessed. You can specify this type, data type. These are data types. Below are the data types acceptable in the array method. Okay, and then the value list can be there. Okay, we cannot have a string type over here. We cannot have a string type specified to access to create an array. Okay, but we can do it using a list. We'll discuss that later, or we can be discussed in the basic Python course, the list, where we can specify the strings type of uh, data type, or multiple values of string, that is called an list. Okay, but here we will discuss about arrays. So I'll start with the first statement, that is import star from array as arr. Okay, so this is the type which I specify for alias, which can tell, which I specify over here in my code. So I'll use this in my specifying the arrays. Now I'll tell values, or I can tell integer values, int array equal to arr dot array. Then what is the type I need to specify? I will specify the type as I. This is of type integer, and the value list. Okay, value list is, for example, I showed you 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. So what is the length? So we have the length as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and the index is, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Now we want to print the values. Okay, we want to print the values which are there. So I'll print the values of integer in the new array is as below. For I in range 0 to 8, print integer int I and equal to space. Okay. Now I want to run this program. So what I'll do, I'll go to this over here, terminal. If you see terminal, I'll click on new terminal. So my terminal will open. This is my program, and this is the folder which I'm in, data structure and algorithms, data structure and algorithms. Okay, and now I need to go to session 3, right? So I'll type cd, this is change directory, to session 3. I'll go inside session 3. Now I can give python exer the name of the file, exercise 3_1.py. I give this, it gave me an error, import star from invalid syntax error. Okay, so I cannot do this. So I'll directly give this. Let it be. I'll use this method. Fine. So now one more error is there. Print in array index is out of range. So it give me an error, index error, that is array index out of range. What is the range? What I given 0 to 8. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll give 6, and now let's see. Yeah, now it printed correctly. If I had given 5, then it would not have printed the last element. Yeah, so now it printed the first one. The value of the integer in the new array is as below: 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Okay, so this is the traversal which I showed. This is the creation of the array, and then what I shown you is the basic operations, that is the traversal of the array. Basic operation, that is traversal or looping. Okay, and I can do this in one more way. So I'll print this below. Another way of traversal, what I can do instead of this, what a for value in int array, I can directly give the value, and then it will print the new array. Yeah, so I don't want this. Yeah, the value of the integer in the new array as below: 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Another way of traversal, the value of the integer in the new array is as below, and this way I have traversed this. So you have seen the two way of traversal. Okay, in the of arrays. Okay, now I'll show the second operation. Uh, Basic operations, that is insertion. Okay, now I want to insert to the array. Okay, um, how can I insert? Okay, add an element to the end of the array. If I want to add an element to the end of the array, I can use the append method. Element to the end of the array. Take down these notes. This is very useful. Append method which you can use. Append method. Use append method to end an element to the end of the array. So what I will do, integer array dot append. What I will do, I will append at the end 150. and then integer array dot append 250. Okay, now let me use this value of the integer in the array after appending two values is as below. Okay, let's see. Clear? So I can type this. So now see, so the first one was 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Now what I did is that I have added two values at the end of the array, that is 150 and 250. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll use insert to insert method position comma value to add an item in the middle of the array. Okay, so I'll do int array dot insert, I'll type 1 and I'll type 120. Okay, let's see this. And now I'll use the same thing to after inserting a value in position 1 is as below. So I'll clear this. Now let's see. Okay, so my first one was 10, 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Then after inserting two values, it was added 150, 250. Now see, I have added 120 in between at the position 1. This is 0, this is 1. So I've added 120 at the position 1. Okay, so now this becomes by position 1. Fine. So this is the way I can add an element at the at the in between some element. Okay. Now deletion, basic operation deletion. Okay. How can I do this? I can use pop method to remove the last element of the array, and this method will remove the last element and return the element removed element return the removed element. Okay, it will return the removed element. So take notes of this. This is very useful. These are very one of the useful things which I am discussing right now. Just use this. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll int array dot pop. Okay, now I want to print it again. Okay, and so I can type the removed element okay, dot pop and now in the position the value of the integers in the array after removing an element using pop is as below. Okay, and print the removed element okay. So now clear this. So first my array was uh, 20, 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Then after inserting 150, 250 at the end, then I inserted one more value called 120. Then the removed element is 250. That is the last element I removed. And what is the element which I left? 20, 30. That is the after the removed element has been removed. So we have this is the array which is there. Okay. Now what I can do is that I'll copy this. Okay. I'll not copy this. I'll tell you. Use pop was to remove an element at the position equal to pause, and this will return the removed element. Okay. So what I can do, removed element equal to int array dot pop. Example, I remove third element. Okay. So now after this I want to print it after removing element using pop 3 is as below. Removed element. Now I'll print the removed element also. Yeah. So the values were 20, 30, 40, 20, 10, 50. Then it became 150, 250 after appending two values. Then after inserting a value in position 1, it became 120. Then I removed the last element 250. So the array became 20. So I removed the element 250. Now I removed 40 in between. So this third element 0, 1, 2, 3. This element is removed. So now I have 20, 30, 120, 30. So this becomes and 20. So now my position has changed. See, the position after removing has changed. So now this becomes my third. In the third index, index equal to 3, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, the 20 is the value. Now you have to change all the calculations as you have done. So third element I have removed. Okay. So this is the way how you can remove an element. And then one more is that you can remove an element using a value also. Okay. So use del value to remove an element from the array with value equal to val, and this does not return you the removed element. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll tell del. So what is value I want to remove? I want to remove, for example, if I want to remove 10, I may remove 10. So now I I'll print this after removing element using del 10. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So what I can do is that I need to give specify from which array. Okay. So I need to specify from which array, that is int array with a value, this one. So here my array is int array and it has a value 10 from this 10. Okay. So this is the, sorry. So this is an index. Sorry for that. With uh, remove an element from the array at position equal to index. Five, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 I use. Sorry for that. So to remove an element. Okay. So I got confused with the other one. We have one more. Use remove value to remove an element from the array with value equal to val. Okay. And it also doesn't give you anything. Okay. So int array dot remove. For example, you want to remove 30 and then using remove. Yeah, so this got removed. The removed, this is using the value, that is removing using any matching value. Okay, if you know the value, you can use that particular value over here, and del is the returning method. Okay, so if I use any value called removed element, and then try to print it, none. It doesn't return you anything. Okay, similarly for the del also, it doesn't return you anything. Okay, since this method doesn't return you the removed element. Okay, fine. So far so good. And now what we can do is that we can use the third or the uh, uh, deletion we have seen. We can search for a value. For example, I want to search for, so what we have 20, 120, 20, 50, 150. Okay, now I use basic operation search. Take down notes. I am telling you again. So it will help you in writing a better program. Okay, take down notes. Okay, fine. So what I'll do, what we can use is that we have a very useful method, use index method to find the index val, to find the position of the element with value equal to val, find the first matching position of the element with value val. Okay, what do I mean by this? For example, I want to search, for example, uh, so I will search print the first matching position of 20 in int array, int array dot index 20. So it will give me the first matching position. So can you tell me which is the position it will give me? 0. So you see, this is the first one, 0, matching position 0. So it did not search, you cannot search for this. Okay, it doesn't have a method, array doesn't have a method to search for this particular element. Okay, so now if I use it to search for another value, position 50 for example, so I'll give the value 50 and then I save it and run it, is 3, since 0 1 2 3. Okay, so that is one third position. Fine. So that was about search, and then we have an update. Okay, we have update method. So how you can update? You can directly use it, int array. For example, I want to update the second position with the value 60. Okay. So the value of the integers in the array after updating the value using int array 2 equal to 60 is as below. What I will do, I'll print this. Let's see. See, it got changed. That is 120 20. It got changed to 60. Okay, and this is the way which you can use to print the element. Now there are other operations, that is use len method to find the length of the array. Print the length of array is as is comma int array dot len. Okay, now when I do this, what is the length of the array? Is len is not a method. Okay, sorry. So I can specify using not this way. Actually, it is len of the array. Fine. So if I use this, value is 5. Fine. Then if you use clear, to remove all the elements in the array. Okay. So here update using length int array name. Okay. I'll not use this. We'll use uh, copy method. Use copy to copy the array. Okay. Copy and array into copy the copy so I'll find this value. Let's see whether it works or not. It doesn't work. Okay, use a copy. How it is done? Just give me a second. So we'll look into this. Just give me some time. Okay, I'll comment this part. It's giving an error. Okay, so we looked into many things, and then we have a reverse. Okay, we have use reverse to reverse an array. Okay, reverse array equal to int okay. Now I'll copy this. The value of the integer in the array in the reverse array, that is reverse Let's see if it works or not. What is happening? Just give me a minute. Okay, so we have this in the list. Sorry, we have in the list. We don't have this in the arrays. Okay, yes, sorry for that. So these are the basic operations which we have, the length and all these things. Okay, these are the specific type and the methods which we have in the array. Okay, and I hope you have taken down notes and it was useful for you. And yeah, so one thing is that I would request you that since I had shown you one program of how to access the first index, how to search the first index of the value with the matching value. Okay, can you find out the second index? Okay, for example, over here in the value I had one more value, right? 20 over here. Can you find out the index of the second element, second matching element? Okay, so try this as an exercise, and then uh, we are done with this particular exercise of arrays, and in the next class, next session, we'll look into the list. Okay, we'll look into the list of it, where we can use the strings to make a list of items. Okay, I hope it was useful for you. Just go through the concepts again, go through the recording again if you are not able to understand some things, and subscribe to the channel, and circulate it among your friends whom you think would be for whom it would be helpful. Okay, this session would be helpful. Yeah. With that, uh, I would take your permission to say goodbye. Stay happy, stay healthy. See you next time.